So I have a voicemail. I know I've mentioned this a couple times in the show that people can call in and ask questions. So I actually got a call from Christina in California. And her story, it was pretty heavy. I mean, she has a lot of life that's happened to her. So her and her husband, who he's in the military, by the way, thank you so much for your service and everything that you do for this country. It's amazing. But they moved from Illinois to California, and then they got in a really bad car wreck. Thankfully, everyone's okay, but a lot of attorney's fees. They were sued a year long, just craziness with that. And then on top of that, now her husband is being deployed for 9 months. And so they had an emergency fund in place, and now they've gone through it, and they're at this point of kind of a crisis now because they don't have savings. It seems like they're living above their means, and now her husband is being deployed. And so what kind of direction does she need to go? So the way I always answer these kind of calls, Christina, is that you have to understand that money flows two ways. Money flows in and money flows out. So if the money that is flowing out is greater than the money coming in, more than likely you have an income problem. Because you're in California, again, it's expensive. That is exactly kind of where you guys have moved. Thanks, your husband's job and his service, which is just incredible. But you guys are gonna have to make some lifestyle changes and some changes to income. And so that may mean you going back to work for a little bit of time, or again, if there's some income things that you guys can cut out, maybe you move to a smaller rental. You can make different decisions to help you guys in that buffer, because the key here is now you were on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, and now you're gonna have to go back and replenish that emergency fund, which is gonna be really key. And so I think for you guys, a great goal would be to at least get a month's worth of savings before he deploys. That's something you guys can work towards. It gives you a little bit of that buffer and kind of that starting launch pad to continue to save for that emergency fund. So be very, very diligent in the budget. Find ways to save money, find ways to cut expenses, and get that back up as soon as possible. And it feels like really, really heavy for you because you guys have gone through a lot in a pretty short period of time, a lot of change, a lot of heaviness. And so what you have to realize, though, is that no matter what, no matter the situation, you can do something about where you're at. And when you lose that power, when you lose kind of that feeling of control, that's when the hopelessness starts to set in. But be hopeful in the fact that you can do something different with your money. You can actually start to take control and get that emergency fund back. Now, guys, again, this is a heavy topic, and the emergency fund, it's there for you. And then when you go through it, that panic can kind of start to come back. And that's exactly what I felt from her. And if you guys have any questions regarding an emergency fund or anything with money, make sure to call the voicemail, leave your question at 844-944-1075.